What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the Chicago Bulls are continuing the, tradition of having a Ring of Honor ceremony for certain seasons in the NBA. I don't think it's every single season, but as far as I'm aware, it's every other season. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bulls have invited 6 people to participate in this Ring of Honor ceremony for the class of 2025, and we're going to be talking about it in this video just a little bit, because I don't feel like this is a massive piece of news. I think it'll be bigger on the day when we get to really truly celebrate these things and these players and these people, but until then, this is just kind of an invitation sort of thing. So with that being said, let's dive in. Let's talk about it. Obviously, give respect to where it's due for certain players, and obviously even announcers, general managers, all of that. Let's talk about it in this video. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. Let me know what you guys think about the Chicago Bulls and the Ring of Honor ceremony. Are you happy to see this continue? And ultimately, with this continuing, do you see similar events taking place that took place last time? I'm not going to mention it because even thinking about it, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's still brings sickening things to my stomach what the Bulls fans did with the Warriors, against the Warriors in that Ring of Honor ceremony. It's still something I'm not very fond of and I would like to forget, but we're keeping the tradition. And ultimately, I feel like the tradition in of itself is not a bad thing to have. I mean, in what world would you not want to celebrate and honor some of the most historic people in the Chicago Bulls history, from announcers like Neil Funk? I mean, Neil Funk, for a lot of my childhood, was the commentator for the Chicago Bulls. He was the guy producing, talking about the plays and doing the commentary. And I guess I wouldn't say a color commentary because I'm thinking of it in wrestling terms, but he's the one that's a little bit more analytical about it. And he provides a really good insight to the game of basketball that you might not get from other people. And Neil Funk, he does a couple of games here and there now, and he's still got it, ladies and gentlemen, to put it in blunt terms. He's still got it. He still can produce as a commentator, and that should be celebrated. He spent so much time here announcing for the Chicago Bulls, and that should not be ignored. And then you've got obviously players like Horace Grant. You can't ignore Horace Grant. He won championships with the Chicago Bulls team. That most definitely cannot be ignored. There are a couple of people that, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about. I don't know much about Johnny Batch. With all due respect to Johnny Batch, maybe someone can enlighten me about him. Maybe it's before my time. I'm not really sure. But, there's certain people now I get to learn about because of this sort of event. I get to learn about Johnny Batch and what he did for the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, Bill Cartwright. We all know Bill Cartwright, former player, big man, that's fair enough. But then you get to John Paxson. John Paxson was one that was invited in this Ring of Honor ceremony. And this is where things get a little bit skeptical now, ladies and gentlemen, because I mentioned previously about fans booing. I can only give you fair warning here. I have a strong feeling when John Paxson's name is called out that fans are going to boo. Now, I hope not, because again, he was much more than just a general manager for the Chicago Bulls. He scored some of the clutchest points in NBA history that helped us win a championship. That should not be ignored, and in fact, that should be celebrated in of its own right, because a championship, as we know from time after the 90s, is ridiculously hard to win. We haven't won one since. So when you get a chance to celebrate someone that brought you championships, you should do it. But at the end of the day, we have a very big young core in our fan base. Recency bias will take place, and he was the former regime that everybody wanted to see get fired. Now, I hope people don't boo, because he was also the one that came out and said that he needed to resign. He was basically the one that said he didn't know what he was doing as the GM anymore. So he stepped down, essentially. It wasn't the Bulls firing him, he stepped down. And to be honest, that's massive respect, in my opinion, to just fully admit that things are not going your way and you might not have an understanding that you once did, and you need to take a lesser role. To me, that is completely fine, and that shows the ultimate respect to the organization that treated you so well. You try to treat them well in return by admitting your flaws. I think that shows a massive sign of respect. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I hope that Bulls fans do not boo. And obviously, Norm Van Leer, I don't know too much about either, but again, I get to learn more about. So these are the 6 players that are in the Chicago Bulls 2025 Ring of Honor ceremony. And again, all I can ask for, and all I can implore Bulls fans is let's not have a repeat of what happened last time. You know, I know last time certain people didn't even attend the Ring of Honor ceremony, if I'm not mistaken. There were a couple of people that didn't last time I remember. But, you know, let's keep this tradition going. Let's treat it right. Let's do it right. But ultimately, let's not show any disrespect to any of the people that will get their name called on that day. And let's give them the appreciation they deserve. And we'll see what happens. With that being said, it's time to end the video. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.